Ladies and gentlemen, gather around because today we are diving into a topic so epic, so absurd, that even MrBeast himself might clickbait it as the roast that changed my life forever. That's right. We're putting the king of YouTube under the comedic microscope. First things first, let's give credit where it's due. MrBeast, a man who somehow turned giving away money into a full-time job. I mean, imagine explaining that to your ancestors. Yeah, Grandpa, I don't farm, hunt, or build things. I just hand people wads of cash and count views. What a time to be alive, huh? At this rate, in a few centuries, someone's descendant will probably be saying, "No, Grandma, I don't work a job. I make robots compete in staring contests on Mars for cryptocurrency." But let's be real. MrBeast's videos are basically the modern-day equivalent of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Except instead of golden tickets, you get iPhones taped to bricks of cash. And instead of Oompa Loompas, he's got Chandler and Carl, whose main job seems to be standing around looking confused while Jimmy does all the work. Seriously, if Chandler's vibe were a job description, it'd be professional head scratcher. Carl, on the other hand, looks like he stumbled out of a TikTok meme and just kept walking until he ended up in a $10,000 challenge. Speaking of challenges, oh, the challenges. The man could turn brushing your teeth into a viral sensation. Last person to stop flossing wins a private island. And not just any island, it's probably a volcanic island that erupts every 5 years, but hey, free is free. MrBeast's version of Just a Quick Game involves building a life-sized replica of the Great Pyramid of Giza out of Lego bricks and then setting it on fire. Honestly, he's one step away from creating a challenge called Who Can Survive Being Buried Alive the Longest? Spoiler, Chandler would quit in the first 5 minutes. Now, don't get me wrong, the man is a marketing genius. He's mastered the art of making us feel like losers for not camping out in a circle for 72 hours with 99 strangers just to win $10,000. Who needs dignity when you can have rent money, am I right? And the way he announces prizes? The winner gets $50,000 and a lifetime supply of tacos. Like, Jimmy, are we supposed to eat tacos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner now? Somewhere out there, a lactose-intolerant contestant is sobbing into their winnings. But let's talk about those giveaways. Every video feels like a high-stakes episode of Oprah. You get a car! You get a car! Everyone gets a car. Meanwhile, his accountant is somewhere in the background, nervously clutching a calculator like it's a stress ball. You just know his tax guy's browser history is full of searches like how to write off a $1 million rock-paper-scissors tournament, and can you deduct an entire island as a business expense? And then there's the philanthropic side of MrBeast. Feeding entire towns, planting millions of trees, curing blindness. What's next? Is he going to reverse climate change with a TikTok trend? I mean, props to him for saving the world one outrageous stunt at a time, but sometimes it feels like he's competing in a secret Who Wants to Be Earth's Favorite Billionaire game show. Watch out, Elon. MrBeast might buy Mars and rename it Beastland. Oh, and let's not forget his obsession with spending absurd amounts of money on things no one asked for.
Nope.
I bought the world's largest pizza. Or, I lived in a $1 million box for a week. Dude, you're not just thinking outside the box. You've built a luxury condo on top of it. Somewhere, a college student is watching these videos while eating instant noodles, wondering what they're doing wrong in life. Meanwhile, Jimmy's out here trying to buy Greenland just to see if Denmark will notice. But for all his larger-than-life antics, you have to wonder, where does MrBeast find these people? Are there secret underground casting calls for contestants willing to risk their dignity for cash? Because half the time, the participants look like they wandered into the wrong building and just decided to roll with it. Wait, what do you mean I have to hold my breath underwater for 6 hours? I thought this was the line for free pizza.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
And let's talk about the budget for these videos. The man's content has more production value than a Marvel movie.
Naughty, naughty. You teasing me, you naughty, naughty.
At this point, MrBeast isn't a YouTuber. He's an entire industry. The catering alone for his videos probably costs more than my monthly rent. Meanwhile, I'm over here wondering if I can afford guac at Chipotle. Do you think he's ever accidentally tried to return something, then realized he bought an entire island and not just a blender? But the funniest part? MrBeast himself. For someone who gives away millions, the man dresses like he's about to mow your lawn. The dude could buy a yacht made of gold and still rock that same hoodie and jeans combo like it's his superhero uniform. If Normcore were a brand, Jimmy would be the ambassador. Imagine walking into a board meeting with billionaires and they're in suits, but there's Jimmy, looking like he just left a Fortnite match. At this point, his wardrobe should have its own merch line called Millionaire Minimalism.
Bruh.
And can we talk about his reactions? MrBeast's excitement levels are either 0 or 100. There's no in-between. It's either, wow, this is cool, or he's screaming like he just found out he won the lottery, which is ironic, considering he's the one handing out the prize money. I'm convinced he yells, "Let's go!" more times in one video than most people do in a lifetime. And the editing. His editors deserve medals. The pace is so fast it feels like you're on a roller coaster of confetti, cash, and chaos. They could probably make watching paint dry look like the Super Bowl halftime show. Somewhere in the world, a sleep-deprived editor is cutting footage of Carl chasing a chicken for a $5,000 bet. But here's the kicker. For all the ridiculousness, MrBeast's formula works. He's cracked the code. He's like the YouTube version of a mad scientist, mixing equal parts chaos, generosity, and what did I just watch into every video. And we keep clicking, because deep down, we all want to see what's next. Will he build a life-size Death Star? Will he buy the moon? Honestly, at this point, nothing would surprise me. I'd tune in to watch him try to sell the ocean. And let's not ignore the spin-offs. Beast Reacts, Beast Philanthropy, Beast Burger. At this rate, we'll probably get Beast Airlines next, with tickets priced at $1 for the last person to leave the plane challenge. If Jimmy's not careful, he'll accidentally buy a country and rebrand it as Beastopia.
Really?
In conclusion, MrBeast is like that one friend who always takes things too far but somehow makes it work. He's over the top, completely absurd, and a little bit crazy, but hey, that's why we love him. So here's to you, Jimmy Donaldson, the man, the myth, the legend, and the guy who makes us all wonder, what am I doing with my life? And then there's the giveaway logic. It's not just about cash anymore. It's pure chaos with a side of, who even thinks of this stuff? Imagine walking into one of his contests and seeing the challenge. The last person to stand still while surrounded by goats wins $50,000. Goats? Half the time I wonder if Jimmy just pulls ideas out of a hat filled with random nouns and verbs. Take his, I spent 50 hours buried alive challenge. Like, bro, who even looks at the earth and says, yeah, let me make this my Airbnb. And the worst part? It worked. Millions of views. Suddenly, being buried alive is mainstream. Somewhere, a funeral director is brainstorming how to rebrand his services as the MrBeast Overnight Experience.
Huh?
And Carl? Oh, Carl. He's like if Chaos and Gen Z had a baby and then raised it on memes and caffeine. Half the time, I'm convinced Carl has no idea what's happening. But he's too committed to leave. There's probably a support group somewhere for people who've tried to follow MrBeast logic and ended up in Carl's shoes, questioning their life choices. In reality, Jimmy's not just a YouTuber anymore. He's like a mad scientist with a god complex. And here we are, clicking play every single time. At this rate, he'll probably end up hosting the Hunger Games in real life. I can hear it now. Last person standing wins $10 million. Also, we have free pizza.